Alright, so this is a quick trend review. You know, basically we're just going to try to find turning points. And there's plenty of ways to do this. You could do it based on volume, you could do it based on price distance, you can do it based on time, you could do it based on their combinations. It's like there's so many ways to do this, but the key is, in my opinion, it's to use at least two time frames and know your location on a higher time frame. Um, and also, like, if you're overextended or overbought, oversold, things like that, that do matter, because there are other traders who will use reversion to the mean strategies, etc., and you just have to keep all of that in mind. Anyway, that being said, you have a market going up, 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 right? So we look at the volume over here, and we notice that it has biggest volume. All right, so the selling pressure is coming in. That's it. There's no rocket science. This is, bigger than this, and there's like a switch right here. The other things that really do matter from what Wyckoff does look at is to identify if there's exhaustion and a lack of demand. Between any type of change of behavior or any type of selling pressure, you really want two things. On the left hand side, you want exhaustion. On the right hand side, you want a lack of demand. Now, obviously, we're talking about a case where you have a sign of weakness, right? So you have a sign of weakness. What should be on the left and what should be on the right? What should be on the left of a sign of weakness and what should be on the right of a sign of weakness? You want evidence of exhaustion on the left hand side and evidence evidence of weakness, of lack of demand on the right hand side. Okay, so you can view it as a selling climax, sign of weakness, and then LPSY. But those things they're not. I don't know. They it's a little bit difficult because trying to quantify that is very difficult. Over here, it's pretty easy because the buying wave is greater than one, two, three, four, five, six, at least six waves, so it's meaningful, right? You have a lot of volume activity, so and you have exhaustion. So yeah, would you say this exhaustion? I would say like it qualifies as exhaustion, or at least a big wave, a big buying wave. After that, you have a higher high on less volume, and then finally you get your change of behavior or the sign of weakness or the change of character or supply or whatever you want to call it. But the idea here is the buyers have exhausted themselves and are not buying any more. They have exhausted themselves and are not buying any more. And in the middle of that, sellers have stepped in. That that right there is the anatomy of a turning point. Right? So that is the switch from strength to weakness. Anyway, after that, this market pukes and goes down, and then you have another change of behavior here. And remember, all of this, you're doing all of this. Make sure you're looking at the higher time frame, because if you're not doing this with the higher time frame, then you don't know if you're counter trending right into resistance. A lot of things are not apparent on the chart that you're trading. Not apparent, fucking not apparent at all. All right, and that's why, in in my opinion, it takes at least two time frames to trade. If you do trading on one time frame, for sure errors will be made, and you'll be like, shit, I didn't know. All I had to do was take a look at a higher time frame, and you'll see most cases when strength comes in at a lower time frame and errors are made, the it's a counter trend right into um, some type of moving average. That's one, and two is at a level where there are buyers that are stuck. Like you have a bar and people bought and then it broke down and it's just retesting that bar. It's like it happens all the time. But anyway, who cares? Just take a look at this and see if that same thing holds true. All right. So as you can see, you want to take your little arrow here. You have selling. Would you say this is exhaustion? Yeah, I would. Would you say it's a climactic? It doesn't matter. Like, you just want to see heavy volume at the left hand side or a strong wave go to a weak wave. Okay, why? Because I think they're buying into the climax or the effort or whatever. So, anyway, so remember, left hand side strong, right hand side weak. Meaning left hand side exhaustion, right? Right hand side weakness. See that? Exhaustion, which is bigger than one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 waves. That volume is heavier than 7 waves. Right hand side, you have weakness, and in the middle, you have strong buying. So you have exhaustion, and you got demand, and then you have weak buying. And the same thing here. You have exhaustion somewhere here, right? Then you have weak buying. I'm sorry, selling, and then you have weak buying. Okay, very important because the turning point there. When Wyckoff wrote about this, this is not some shit I make up. Like, this is what Wyckoff wrote about. Alright, he said how the turning points occur. And what he had mentioned, you know, was this idea about um, waves will only go so far as they can attract a following. And what he looked for was exhaustion, and then he also looked for a lack of demand, a lack of supply right afterwards. So this, like, he had this method of identifying a turning point, and that method actually works today. Um, Surprising, but that's what it does. Anyway, so we see that all of that is occurring here. One, two, three. Okay. So in my opinion, the trend right now is in demand control, but the problem though is that this is pretty strong strength, and they will short like up here. So I don't know how far it's gonna go, but right here, right, any untested areas, and this looks like this block right here. Where's my let me see the figure chart. We'll see what the figure chart is doing. So, that's the minimum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 8. 4, 5, 6, 7. It's about there. I don't know what that is. 25, something up there. Anyway, so how many more bricks do we have? 20, 40, 60. About 80 to 100 ticks. 80 to 100 ticks. It's possible it can go up that much. I'm not saying it will. It may just puke because there is selling in the background here. All right, significant selling in the background. The daily chart is down. You had a very strong rally, and the hourly is down as well. So does that mean you don't take the trade? No, it just means you have to have in mind trend and counter trend. You have to have in mind, like, that has to be in mind because their targets are different. The amount of target you're gonna get is different. The amount, and that's all. All right, bye.